You know, when you think of tick bites, your brain probably jumps straight to Lyme disease, right? But what if I told you there's another, often overlooked illness hiding in that same exact bite, and it could be just as serious? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on anaplasmosis. Let's get right into it.
First off, just look at this thing. This is the culprit we're talking about, the black-legged tick nymph. It's smaller than a sesame seed. I mean, it's so tiny that most people who get sick have no memory of ever being bitten. It's a threat you literally might not see coming.
And yet, a bite from that tiny creature can carry bacteria powerful enough to cause organ failure. Think about that contrast for a second. Something you can barely see can do that much damage if it's not caught in time. It's pretty staggering, and it's exactly why we need to understand what we're up against.
All right, so let's start at the very beginning, with that tiny and potentially very dangerous bite.
So what is anaplasmosis exactly? Well, the most important thing to know is that it's a bacterial infection. The bug has a pretty long name, Anaplasma phagocytoleum. This isn't a virus, it's a bacterium that actually gets inside our white blood cells and disrupts our immune system from the inside out. And here's the delivery vehicle. The black-legged tick is the main shuttle for this bacteria. Now check out this map because this is really interesting. You see where the disease is most common? The upper Midwest and the Northeast. Well, that's no coincidence. It lines up perfectly with where this specific tick loves to live.
Okay, and this brings us to one of the biggest problems with anaplasmosis. It's a master of disguise. You could call it the great imitator.
I mean, think about it. You feel absolutely awful. You've got a fever, you're achy, your first thought isn't going to be some tick you might have picked up a week ago, right? You're probably asking yourself this exact question, and that delay in figuring it out can be really dangerous. This slide just lays out the problem perfectly. Look at that overlap. Fever, bad headache, muscle aches. It looks and feels exactly like the flu. And here's the real kicker. Most of us associate tick bites with a rash, like from Lyme disease. But with anaplasmosis, a rash is actually pretty rare. It's like the perfect storm for a misdiagnosis.
So, knowing it's so easy to mistake for something else, we really need to get specific. Let's dig into how to recognize the symptoms and, just as importantly, the timeline.
Okay, this timeline is absolutely crucial. So you get the bite, but symptoms don't usually pop up for 1 to 2 weeks. During those first 5 days of feeling sick, you get those flu-like symptoms we just talked about. But look what happens after day 5 if it's not treated. The risk of getting severely ill just skyrockets. This is a genuine race against the clock.
And for some folks, the stakes are even higher. The number one risk factor, as you can see, is just waiting too long to get treated. But if you're over 65 or if your immune system is already compromised from something like chemotherapy, you're way more vulnerable to the worst-case scenarios.
All right, and just when you think it couldn't get any more complicated, well, it does. We've got to talk about something called the co-infection factor.
The concept is pretty simple and pretty scary. You're not just dealing with one potential enemy here. A single tick can be carrying a whole cocktail of different diseases. And this is a really big deal, because the very same tick that gives you anaplasmosis can also be carrying Lyme disease or another infection called babesia, all at the same time. And when that happens, you can get much, much sicker a lot faster. Plus, it makes it that much harder for doctors to figure out everything that's going on.
Okay, that was a lot about the problem, I get it. But here's the good news. You are not helpless in this. So let's shift gears and talk about the solution. This is your tick defense plan.
We can boil this whole strategy down to 3 simple, powerful steps. Repel, check, and remove. If you can commit these 3 actions to memory, you've got your best defense against not just anaplasmosis, but all the nasty stuff ticks can carry.
So let's break down step 1, repel. This is all about making yourself a hostile environment for ticks. So yeah, use a DEET-based repellent on your skin. But the real game changer is treating your clothes and your gear with something called permethrin. It lasts for weeks, and it doesn't just repel ticks, it actually kills them on contact. Next up, daily diligence. No repellent is perfect, so you have to check yourself every single day. Pay extra close attention to those warm, hidden spots like your armpits, your groin, behind your knees. And if you find one, don't freak out. Just get a pair of fine-tip tweezers, grab the tick as close to your skin as possible, and pull straight up with steady pressure. No twisting, no burning it, just a clean, straight pull.
All right. Finally, let's say you did your best, but you start feeling sick anyway. What happens next? This is the last and most critical piece of the whole puzzle. Spot it, treat it.
Your doctor is basically going to become a detective. They'll look at your symptoms, they'll ask if you've been in places where ticks live, and they'll order blood tests. And these lab results are huge clues. When a doctor sees low white blood cells, low platelets, and high liver enzymes, those are classic red flags for anaplasmosis.
This quote really says it all, because the risk of delaying treatment is so high and the symptoms are so vague at first. Doctors don't wait around. If they suspect anaplasmosis based on the whole picture, they start treatment immediately. They're not going to wait for a lab test that could take days to come back. And this slide right here shows you exactly why that aggressive approach is so important. The right antibiotic, doxycycline, is incredibly effective. For a disease that can potentially lead to organ failure, the turnaround is just amazing. Most people start to feel a lot better within just 24 to 48 hours of starting the medicine.
So, we walked through this hidden threat, the tricky symptoms, and the clear plan for how to prevent it and treat it. Anaplasmosis is serious, there's no doubt about it. But it is also preventable and highly treatable. The most important thing is just being informed. So, I guess the only question left is, now that you know the risks, are you prepared?